Chapter 3. Office Politics. Machiavellian Venue. A quote from Law 24. The perfect courtier thrives in a world where everything revolves around power and political dexterity. He has mastered the art of indirection. He flatters, yields to superiors, and asserts power over others in the most oblique and graceful manner. End quote. The purpose of this essay is to give an overview of how to manage the politics in a modern corporate office. In truth, this piece is simply an addendum to Law 24, Play the Perfect Courtier. The political maneuverings of medieval courtiers and the political maneuverings of modern corporate employees are uncannily similar. As a corporate employee, you are nothing more than a 21st century courtier. In most corporate positions, your actual competence will be fueled by intelligence and energy. If you have a high IQ and the energy to work long hours, you will be able to competently do the work. This essay covers those things involved with getting promoted up the corporate hierarchy that have nothing to do with your actual level of competence, managing office politics and ensuring that in addition to being competent, you are perceived as competent. It is more important to appear to be good at your work than to actually be good at it. Disclaimer. The wisdom contained within this piece will be sufficient for succeeding at the bottom and middle levels of the corporate hierarchy. If you make it to the highest levels of the corporate hierarchy, Vice President and Chairman suite, the wisdom contained herein will not be sufficient. Parental training. If you were raised by a tyrannical parent, you have received the best training possible for succeeding in the game of office politics. By the age of 10, you will have learned how to monitor every word you say, use power talk, how to hide your displeasure and fake your contentment, and how to manufacture convincing lies fast with zero time for preparation. Regulate your speech. The office you work in is a high-stakes venue. If you succeed, you can be promoted up the hierarchy and be awarded millions of dollars as a member of the C-suite. If you fail, you could be fired, be unemployed, have no income, and end up homeless. Because the stakes are so high, you must monitor every word that leaves your lips. Everything you say must be carefully calculated. At the same time, for the sake of charming people, your words must seem to flow naturally, with an ease that makes them appear genuine rather than contrived. This is difficult, and it is something you must master. Nobody ever said winning in the game of power was easy. If you say 10,000 words per day, monitoring the entirety of your speech is impossible. However, if you speak only 1,000 words per day, it's very doable. As such, limit how much you talk. See Law 4. A common blunder otherwise intelligent people make is regulating their speech when in the presence of superiors, but failing to do so when in the presence of equals and subordinates. You must continuously regulate your speech, even when you have no superiors in the room. Why? Because anything you say in front of your subordinates is likely to be repeated in front of your superiors. Do not trust people to keep their lips sealed. Pretense. The loyal employee. You must at all times maintain the pretense that you are a loyal employee, that you are loyal to the corporation that employs you. In reality, corporate loyalty is something of an oxymoron. Corporations will fire their employees without hesitation if it boosts the stock price by a penny, and employees will leave their current employer without hesitation if there is higher compensation elsewhere. While you must be aware of this reality on the inside, outwardly, you must give the appearance of being an employee whose loyalty is beyond question. If you are interviewing for positions at a company other than the one you currently work for, you must keep these interviews secret at all costs. Failure to do so could easily lead to you being fired. Team player pretense. Zero-sum competition reality. You are in zero-sum competition with co-workers who have the same rank as you. You are in competition with one another for the same promotion opportunities and for keeping your jobs when layoff season comes. On a day-to-day basis, your superiors will judge your performance relative to the performance of co-workers of your own rank. It is objectively in your best interest for your co-workers to fail, since this increases the probability that you will be promoted rather than them, and they will be fired rather than you. Yes, the corporate world is actually this cynical. While intense zero-sum competition is the reality, you must always maintain the pretense that you are all on the same team. You must, at least in the eyes of your superiors, be a team player. If you fail to maintain this pretense, your superiors will view you as a monster and fire you. It is a paradox, and one that you must execute without a hint of discrepancy. Intense zero-sum war, while maintaining the appearance of camaraderie with the enemy. Generally speaking, promotions are Pareto distributed. The top-ranked employee of a certain rank will be promoted. The rest of the employees who have the same rank as them will not be promoted. First place gets a promotion. Second place, and everyone else, gets nothing. As such, the zero-sum competition you are engaged in with your co-workers has a Hunger Games distribution of rewards. Triangulate your critical superiors. The main strategy for winning the game of office politics will be this. Triangulate who your critical superiors are, and prioritize charming them over charming everyone else. Ideally, everyone in the company you work for loves you, and they all perceive you as being highly competent. In reality, accomplishing this will be impossible. There will inevitably be times when you must prioritize work done for one person over another, or when you must make a decision between taking a course of action that will offend person X or person Y. As such, you must triangulate who your critical superiors are, the people who wield power over whether you are promoted or fired. In some office environments, it will be obvious who your critical superiors are. In others, it will require some investigation. Critical superiors prioritize their work. For your critical superiors, you should give A+ work as fast as possible, whereas for everyone else, you should give A- work with some delays. Don't slack too much when doing work for people who aren't your critical superiors. If you give them B- work, it could easily come back to haunt you. Critical superiors. Prioritize charming them. Ideally, you charm every person in the office by appearing enthusiastic or neutral in front of everyone, never unhappy or angry. Sadly, this will be impossible. There will inevitably be times when you are unhappy. For the sake of securing promotion and avoiding firing, you must hide your displeasure and fake your contentment and agreement whenever in the presence of one of your critical superiors. Appearing unhappy in the presence of people who aren't your critical superiors is bad, but acceptable. Appearing unhappy in the presence of your critical superiors is office politics suicide. What your critical superiors think of you will make or break your career. If they perceive you as competent and likable, the overwhelming probability is you will be promoted. If they perceive you as incompetent or unlikable, the overwhelming probability is you will be fired, or kept around but never promoted. In life, you have two choices. Be an ignorant fool or a brilliant strategist. Buy the audiobook now. To learn how to be the latter, scroll down to find the link in the description. Click on the link. Purchase it now. Listen to the entire audiobook from start to finish. Then, watch your life transform.